Well, good morning, church. Thank you for joining us for our deep dive. Today we're in Acts chapter 23, starting about verse 34 and going through Acts chapter 24 to about verse 21. We're mainly focusing on Paul's defense before Felix. Remember Paul, the uproar in Jerusalem, the Jews were wanting to take him out. There were even people who were making commitments and vows that they would kill Paul. And because of the protection of the Romans, he has now been brought to where Felix is, and he'll have a chance for him to hear both the complaints against him and for him to speak the truth. So he's really in a safe place. And so Felix waits for the ones from Jerusalem to come so they can share. And of course the Jewish council with all their impressive looks and they're there, this big entourage of people. And when Felix says, what is the complaint? The first thing they do is they use flattery. They talk about how wonderful Felix is. And the Jews didn't have great feelings for the Rome, but they flattered to start off. And then they basically say three charges against Paul. One, he's a troublemaker. And if you look, he's a guy who has stirred up riots all around the world. They accuse him of being a leader of a cult of the Nazarene, and that the idea of Jesus, and he was from Nazareth, that was known. So they wanted to put that moniker on him, so any bad thing that's come from them can land on him. And then they accuse him of desecrating the temple. The one power the Jews had is that the Romans gave them permission to actually execute anyone, even a Roman citizen, any Gentile, that entered into the temple where they shouldn't be. And they accused Paul of violating that and bringing, again, Gentiles into that area. Well, after Felix hears this, he allows Paul to come and speak. And the first thing Paul does is acknowledge that Felix is a great person to do this because he was the governor that would be over the Jews, and he was used to the Jews. I think Paul is saying, you're used to how crazy the Jews are. And then Paul basically says, listen, I have confidence that if you go, I've only been in Jerusalem a short time, check it out. You'll hear there's been no uprising in Jerusalem because I'm there. And he could verify that not through the people who would be willing to lie, but through the Roman citizens and the Roman officials that were there. There was no great turmoil happening until they seized Paul. He did say, listen, I'm a follower of the way. The way is one of the things that Christians were called that day, called the way. But he said, hey, listen, I follow the Old Testament. I follow the prophets. I fulfill all those things. This is not a breakaway, as Paul would entail later, but it really is the fulfillment of the Old Testament. He says, I have a clear conscience. As a matter of fact, when he came to Jerusalem, he brought offerings to help the Jewish Christians that were there. He was even in a rite of purification at the time in which the Jews grabbed him, practicing as a good Jews. And he really said, if you ask the high council here, what Jewish law that Felix would have known have I broken, they can't name a one, other than I believe in the resurrection of the dead, which was really a tilt towards saying Jesus Christ lived, died, and was raised again. At times in our life, we will face persecution. At times in our life, we'll face people who accuse us of lies. And see, the Jews were using what they had used. See, they used lies about Christ to have him executed by the Romans. They used lies about Stephen to have him stoned. And they're using their normal thing. We'll share lies about Paul, and either Felix will take him out or hand him back to us and we'll take him out. But Paul was willing to stand for the truth. He was willing to say what was truthful, but ultimately he understood his vindication was not going to come from Felix. It was not going to come from convincing the Jews. It was ultimately going to come from God. That God was there, and you know what? God could work at a greater level. God could take care of him. See, Paul had always dreamed about going to Rome, about sharing the gospel there, dreamed about, seeing the church in Rome. And guess what, Paul? He's about to get an all-expense trip to Rome. So God is taking care of him. So I just say, when you're facing persecution, when you're facing maybe lies, maybe people stirring things up, and we think somehow, we've got to fix it. Yes, we want to be truthful, and we be willing to speak the truth, but ultimately understand that God is our judge, not those people. And ultimately, a vindication will come. Either God works it out and people see it here, or one day before God, we'll have a clear conscience knowing that we have obeyed and pleased God in all we have done. Thanks for being part of our deep dive. Continue tomorrow. Continue as we work through the book of Acts. You guys have a blessed day.